Beautiful day here in Lorient, France, just about 500 kilometers from Paris. 17-degree water temperature, so wetsuits are being worn today. 20-degree air temperature, perfect. It's just been about 3 weeks since the Olympic Games, and very quickly Sarah Gruff from the United States, one of the athletes who had to watch the Olympic Games on TV. She was the first spare, taking out very quickly now. The one living and training in Colorado Springs is moving very quickly through the early stages, and just on her feet include the likes of Jessica Harrison and DeMarco from Switzerland. It is 2 loops. First lap just over 1,000 meters, and then a second much smaller loop inside this small lake. The World Cup race has not been in France for a number of years, but the trio are already out of the water. That's Sarah Gruff, and beside her Harrison from France. She'll be carrying a lot of pressure today, and DeMarco. Gruff struggling just a bit to get out of her wetsuit, and already you can see both DeMarco and Harrison taking off quickly. The American athlete is going to have to move if she wants to get into this small group, and it is perfectly suited for this 8-lap bike. Just in the backdrop, you can see the rest of the athletes coming as the Olympic Games bronze medalist from 2000. DeMarco takes off very quickly, and Harrison just on her feet. It looks like Gruff may just be missing this pack out. And now looking back to the chase group of athletes, that's Ellis from the United States, and just behind her was Debbie Tanner. A very large group right now of women all working together, and eventually they did bring back the trio of Gruff, DeMarco, and the likes of Harrison, and that is Ellis now taking a break off the front at lap 3 of 8. Undulating hills on this course, and a large crowd have come out to cheer on the French athletes. Elizabeth May, the woman who had a bronze medal on the Beijing course a couple of years ago, trying to get things going late in the season. And Sarah Gruff once again pushing the pace here in Lorient. There's Lisa Norden, who started the season off with a couple of medals, and after a bit of a disappointment at the Olympic Games, trying to end her season off in style. Mary Beth Ellis once again pushing the pace, and Nicola Spirik just behind her, having done a tremendous amount of work in the early stages of this 40-kilometer ride. Picture perfect conditions here as they come back towards the end of this 40-kilometer ride, and it is going to be about a dozen women who have a legitimate chance, and one of the fights will be between the likes of Sam Warner and Felicity Abram, who are trying to fight it out for the #1 ranking in 2008. This is round 11, and there's Norden from Sweden. She's looking for a big performance here today. First out onto the run will be Andrea Hewitt, who had a top 10 finish at the Olympic Games. And you can see very quickly Debbie Tanner, Sam Warner heading off as well onto the start of this 4-lap, 10-kilometer run. More hills on this course than we would have anticipated, and Felicity Abram one of the last to leave the transition zone. Very quickly, Lisa Norden and Andrea Hewitt pushing the pace through the first lap, and there comes Sam Warner trying to move herself from 3rd up to #1 before the 2008 season ends. And Lisa Norden, who's been living and training at high altitude for most of 2008, living in France in fact, right now is moving away and clear from the rest of the women. Norden, who's had a 2nd and a 3rd in 2008. She was the 23 and under world champion back in 2007, has now gotten away from the rest of the group. And that's Elizabeth May right there, Harrison and Sam Warner along with DeMarco into the group, and they are about 50 meters down on the very fast moving Lisa Norden. Norden looking over her shoulder, but nobody clear. She really has moved very well through the early stages of this 10-kilometer run. See right there, Andrea Hewitt starting to fall off the pace. Sarah Gruff, who has never been on the podium before, trying to move herself up right now. And Jessica Harrison, she's had a couple of 4th place finishes, but has never had a chance to be on the podium. A woman who has never had a World Cup win comes back from disappointment in Beijing to claim her first ever World Cup win. Lisa Norden from Sweden becomes the first athlete from that nation to ever win a World Cup triathlon. And look at the elation. Here comes Sam Warner. She's going to be moving up in the overall World Cup rankings. It's all going to come down to the last race in Mexico. And Harrison gets on the podium for the first time. The French crowd will be loving it as Jessica Harrison from France claims the bronze medal. Here comes Sarah Gruff. She'll take 4th, 5th place for Elizabeth May.
think today was more about myself and getting a bit of revenge from the Olympic Games, which I wasn't really pleased with. I showed everyone today, I think, that I could stay in the main pack in the swim, and that was really, really important for me, personal today. And then having a run like I knew I was run fit, but it's so frustrating when you're not like in the front when you start the run because you can't make up the time. Today I was there and I had a good run, and it's all just came together. So I'm very, very pleased with that.
Oh, it's the best feeling ever. You know, when you have a disappointment like the Olympics, it's really hard. And you know, the Olympics is the best experience, but it's also the worst experience when you don't perform as you want to. So for me to come back here and to finish on the podium is just what I wanted, and to be able to do what you want to do is, you know, it's just the best feeling ever. And Hamish Carter always says that champions are not always the ones that, you know, win, they're the ones that come back after a failure or defeat. So I'd like to think that that's what I've done today, is I've proved I'm back on task and I'm back ready to improve my world ranking.
You know, I thought it might, because Sarah Groff was with us in the water. Unfortunately, I think she had a bad transition, so we ended up just being 2 of us on the bike, and we were working well, but you know, you have girls like Norden and Spirig behind who are working hard to come back, so well, we tried our best, but then after 2.5 laps they caught us, and then it was just a matter of trying to rest up a little bit to get our legs back for the run.
It's a day of firsts, the first time that Lisa Norden stands on top of the podium, the first time that Jessica Harrison gets on the podium, and once again, Sam Warner having a great day.